Movies and books have really given us a sense of what a family and a childhood should look like. They've given us images of children playing in the snow, gathering around the Christmas tree, opening presents, little warm fuzzy feelings, a mother or a father comforting their child when in times where the child needed it. But for some people, this was really far from reality. Now, in my previous video on Parentified child, I will link it below, I've discussed what it means to be an adult child and what parentification is. So I'm going to use this video to explain again what parentification is, but this video is going to focus mostly on emotional parentification, also known as emotional incest sometimes. And of course, ways that you can identify it and ways to manage it. If you are new to my channel, don't forget to introduce yourself in the comment section below. My name is Olympia. I have a degree in cognitive neuroscience and art history. And what I like to do, I like to dissect that pretty little brain of yours and see what makes you tick, but also makes you talk. So don't forget to help a girl out by smashing that subscribe button, ringing that bell for your weekly Thursday videos, and let's start. First of all, quick overview. What is parentification? Parentification was coined back in 1973. It means that the child takes on responsibilities that basically shouldn't be taken on during their age. Now, there are two types of parentification. There is emotional parentification and there's industrial type of parentification. Emotional parentification, which is what this video is going to be about, means that the child is taking on an emotional and psychological burden that they're not really ready to at the developmental stage and the age that they are. And when you've grown up like this, you become what is called an adult child. So what do I mean by this? Adult children often talk about how their parents crossed a lot of boundaries, how their father or their mother would talk about their sex lives, or how they would complain about their finances. They would cry. They would seek the emotional support from their child rather than their spouse. Now, this could be for a bunch of reasons. This could be because your parents were divorced. It could be because one of your parents died, even a sibling death. It's a type of emotional incest, which even though this is not sexual, it means that the boundaries between what it means to be a child and what it means to be a parent are kind of blurred. Now, this is great in some sense because the child develops a very mature sense of self. They know how to take care of themselves. They know a lot about responsibility, about being mature, about prioritizing, about responsibilities. These are all great things, but it's great when you're an adult. When you're a child, you're supposed to be a trial and error. You're supposed to be able to experiment with all this. Now, I've spoken about the id, the superego, and the ego in my video of how to turn your weaknesses into strengths. But the id is your impulses. It's what we want to do, but then society is like, sometimes. And the superego is what our parents have passed on to us, what society has passed on to us. Now, the thing with emotional parentification and an adult child is that the child never managed to express its impulses that much, and the parent didn't really instill those values into that child. So what does it mean to have a healthy boundary? What does it mean to be self-confident? What does it mean to not sacrifice everything around you to run to your parent? Now, a lot of these kids, a lot of people that have gone through emotional parentification are kind of on autopilot when they were kids, and they continue with that in their lives and in their future relationships. And they will usually choose a partner that requires their help. Because in emotional parentification, the kid thrives on crisis. It thrives on drama because that's what kind of created this connection between the parent that wasn't emotionally mature enough and the child that was asked to step up. The parent would go to the child for support. So one of the roles that the parentified child will have is being the counselor. So like I said, the parent will come and we'll talk about finances. And the child is expected to come up with solutions of how to fix the family's finances. It may be to complain about the other spouse. And so the child will feel like they have to find a way to maintain their family, and because they feel like it's them that's holding them together. The other thing is an ego boost. So the parent will start saying all these problems and say things that maybe I'm just not strong enough. Maybe I'm not pretty enough. Maybe I'm not confident enough. And the child feels like they have to respond and make their parent feel better. So it's kind of like Snow White and the mirror on the wall. So they kind of turn around and they're like, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest parent of them all? And the child has this invisible pressure to build up the parent and create that ego boost by saying, no, mom, like you are very confident you did this. Or no, dad, you know exactly what you're doing, you did this. They're asked to bring in an immense amount of logic into a situation that usually a child requires fantasy, requires playing. This is one of the reasons that I wanted to create a guide on 6 ways to underwhelm when you're overwhelmed. Being a parentified child, going through emotional parentification is very overwhelming, not because of the childhood that you lost and that you're grieving, but because it translates into future relationships. Parentification has shown to be connected to anxiety disorders, depression, eating disorders, knowing how to put down healthy boundaries. Now, of course, all of this puts a lot of stress on future relationships. So make sure to check out my site and get your free 6 ways to underwhelm when you're overwhelmed. They're all backed up by science because of my cognitive neuroscience side. But one of the things that you need to do, if you realize through this video, or if you already know that you are a parentified child and that you're going through emotional parentification, or you've been through emotional parentification, is that you have to accept the fact that you did not have a childhood, that you are allowed to grieve over your childhood, that you were not allowed to be carefree, make mistakes, be reckless, and just basically be what we know, a child. So coming to the realization and accepting that, and then even having an honest discussion with your parent, because usually this is something we realize when we're adults, can really help in the healing process and in the therapy process. Now, this is the harsh truth time that I spoke about in my other video too. You're gonna have to learn to reparent yourself. Life's unfair, it sucks. The fact that you did not have the classic parent that taught you all these things and now you have to parent yourself. Yes, I know it's not easy, but long term it's worth it. So you're gonna have to learn how to set boundaries. You're gonna have to learn how to learn the difference between compromise and sacrifice, which I've done a video about. You're gonna have to learn how to deal with anxiety, triggers that come from emotional parentification. Now, all of this may seem a lot, but that's the beauty of the internet. There's so much help out there. There's so many resources that you can look and read and feel that basically you're not alone. And lastly, ironically again, stop over caring for everyone around you. If this video has resonated with you, and if you are thinking, you know what, yeah, I did go through emotional parentification and now I'm dealing with the repercussions, I want you to sit down and really think about your relationships. Think about your relationship with your parents, your friends, your romantic relationships, your relationships at work. And I want you to seriously evaluate how much energy and how much care you put into those relationships. Chances are that if you've gone through emotional parentification, is that you overcare. You are overly empathetic. You strive on the crisis that you have to solve, and when things are stable, you feel that something is wrong. So you keep trying to overcare for these people and satisfy their needs and even be codependent because you feel that otherwise you have nothing to offer because that's how you grew up with. I hope this helped. I know emotional parentification can be really overwhelming, so do check out my site. Don't forget to help a girl out by smashing that subscribe button, ring that bell so you guys get notified when I make my videos every Thursday, and also give me a huge thumbs up to make Mom Algorithm love me. But most importantly, guys, really share this video with someone that you think has gone through emotional parentification. And that's it, folks.